Sort of showing you like how close the edges are between these players too. I mean, do you really have a leg up over your opponent? You have to outsmart him to get to that point in the game. We're going to find out who's outsmarted too, because game number 5 is getting underway right now, and the winner starts themselves out 1-0 in the tiebreaker matches. They're only playing 3 apiece, and every game counts.
Yeah, it's so important. And I was just about to say it. I kind of expect RDU to play this deck again.
Yeah, Kaldi going with Paladin here, and RDU, he's going with the Rogue again. This opening hand doesn't look quite as good, but 2 preparations can always yield some dangerous spots.
Yeah, if he picks up a sprint here in any of his next couple draws, it could be huge.
Yeah, you can see him pained about this, though. He hates this opening hand. I can't blame him either. You know, you look at this and you're kind of just hoping for the right draws at this point. But this is the risk of playing any sort of combo-related deck, is that if you get like half the pieces and not the other ones, your hand just doesn't do anything.
Yeah, you know, we always talk about that with Grim Patron, but I feel this deck actually has a little bit of a harder time recovering from those. It doesn't have as many cycle cards as the Grim Patron deck does. That's what makes that deck so good, so powerful, is that it just, you know, keeps, you know, exchanging a card for a card, exchanging another card for a card. Well, you don't have that option as much in Rogue.
Yeah, the churning engine in the Grim Patron deck's a little bit more consistent than in Rogue, where you're kind of relying on Azure Drake and Preparation Sprint to really get that job done.
Yeah, Azure Drake, though, like, you know, you say you're like relying on it. You know, it's just such a good minion for their deck, though. It fits so many purposes. You know, the spell damage is relevant, drawing a card is awesome, and then getting a minion in play is just great as well.
Yeah.
Now, if you're RDU here, do you just have to? Do you prep into an SI7 agent here?
There's not really anything wrong with this. I mean, you do lose a card in this spot, but you're kind of turning the preparation into a backstab.
Now, do you use Eviscerate? I don't think you do, right?
No, I don't think so at all. You can hold on to it for sure.
Yeah, because you know this is like the mid-range version of Kaldi, and you might need these Eviscerates to deal with some minions here.
Yeah, Kaldi understands his game plan right away too. True Silver Champion, so good versus Rogue.
Love it. In almost every other matchup, it's way more important to get the Pilot Destroyer in play, but in this matchup, it's so important to keep minions off of RDU's side of the board.
This is an excellent point you make, is that I totally agree with you. Getting minions on the board so they can start dealing repetitive damage, that is super important, but say that gets sapped and RDU gets in 3 points of damage. Now you're looking at turn 5, you still have that same fear of playing Pilot Shredder, like it gets answered by something, and you don't have your True Silver out, and he's still hitting you with the minion, like everything goes wrong from there.
Also, you don't ever want to give the Rogue deck a very clean, easy board going into turn 5, because that's their Azure Drake turn, and that's their big turning point in the game.
So having the dagger out on 3 charges, very, very key here, because this allowed RDU to play this Azure Drake on curve and still take care of the Pilot Shredder.
Yeah, now he's picking up a couple cards that he can maybe cycle through his deck with. He's got, you know, Phantom Knives here. The Eviscerate's not great right this second. Deadly Poison, not great still. He's looking for a sprint to help keep him in this game.
Yep.
Kaldi, love the way he's played this game.
Yeah, just the True Silver Champion first is really the key point here too. And again, you saw him not hesitate on it. And Kaldi's the kind of player, he's not just playing the True Silver Champion because it's a direct answer, it's because he knows what happens if it pans out wrong.
Now, does Paladin feel to you kind of like Paladin and Druid as like the original mid-range control decks?
Paladin has gone through a pretty big evolution over the course.
Now you're seeing a bunch of aggressive ones, but this version of Paladin, I mean.
Yeah, it kind of plays in the same vein as Druid does, where you just want to have powerful stuff at every step of the curve. The one big thing that's missing is that end game push. You know, your end game push is a sustained push rather than an actual push for damage. Like you win via attrition more than you win via just big combos.
Yeah, I mean, like you have a Tyrion, but he doesn't actually just end the game immediately. I mean, the card is so oppressive, it's so good, but it doesn't just kill you like, you know, Grim Patron does and decks like that, or like Rogue does. You know, just, you saw the last game with RDU, he did over 24 points of damage in that turn, and he still had more.
Yeah. Kaldi, you know, this is a really big turn for him too. A lot of different options that go different ways. And so I don't think he's cog hammering this turn. Wow, I'm totally wrong though.
I would say you might just want it just to push for as much damage.
Yeah, so gonna abandon the Light's Justice, not a big deal. It is 4 points of damage over the long haul, but looks like he wants to get going a little bit earlier.
Yeah, I think what he wants here is a good board sustainment into turn 8, so he has a good spot to lay on hands.
Yeah, talking about good draws, by the way.
That was a pretty good one.
Yeah, able to make sure that the mana rate's taken care of as well. Sap is going to be an important card, I think, at some point in this game. But having to overkill this 1/1 with a 3/1 with a 3/2 dagger, that feels awful. And Harrison right off the top, going to put that in a museum. But I almost feel like this is the kind of situation that RDU wanted. So Kaldi's side of the board position is frozen. We're going to go with RDU's until we get this fixed back up. So we'll find out exactly what he drew as soon as possible.
He used the Cog Hammer to take care of the Blood Mage Thanos there, apparently. And then, you know, just made a 1-1 here. Great turn for Kaldi here. RDU on the back foot now.
Yeah.
This is such a hard spot.
Well, if he plays a Lotheb, it's already challenged.
Yeah, he's just going to use the Eviscerate here. Just hope this is going to be good enough. I mean, Kaldi has a couple different ways to deal with this.
It's actually funny. If the Lotheb effect wasn't there, he could have Blessing of Kings it and then Big Game Huntered it. That's actually a pretty funny combo.
Do you think he would have done that just to get the Big Game Hunter in play since it has such small value in this matchup?
Well, he has the Dr. Boom when he's at 23, so I don't think he's fearing for his life right now.
I'm saying if he had the chance to do that this turn, do you like that, or do you just like using Blessing of Kings on the 1-1 and running it over? I mean, getting the Big Game Hunter into play is pretty big in this matchup because, I mean, there's no target, usually.
That's really the big story there.
Since Kaldi has Goblin RDU has Goblin Auto Barber, then you can probably believe he doesn't have Van Cleef in his deck and that you're never going to actually have a target for the Big Game Hunter unless you're dead because they've Tinker Sharp sort of oiled multiple times.
Yeah, I think RDU's got to move in here, by the way. He's going over the situation multiple times, but where does he have another window of opportunity? This is it, and RDU is seizing it. If he draws Blade Flurry, I think he's got this game won, but you know, Kaldi's got to deal with this board state first.
Yeah, this is a lot of damage. This is 18 here. Kaldi, he has to be able to deal with this 11-5 and heal or do something to stop RDU this turn. Look at RDU's reaction here.
I think these boombots are going to have to roll perfect.
Well, okay, yeah, so if he uses a Consecration, he still can't win. He has to use the Lay on Hands on himself this turn.
Yeah, he literally has to use that card first. Oh my gosh. Wait. If he deals enough damage with the boombots, he can Blessing of Kings and Consecration. He needs to see where these boombots land. This is deciding the game.
Yeah, Kaldi's going to take his time here. Yeah, he does have the Big Game Hunter, but if he does that, he just dies to the weapon. What can he draw for 1 mana here that's relevant?
Blessing of Might, maybe?
Humility?
Yeah, Humility. That's not too bad. I would like to see where these boombots land first because there's a potential that Kaldi mislethal his turn. Wow. What a big roll, too.
RDU is not happy about that. Oh, and he picks up the Blade Fury even here, too.
It's only 8 damage, though.
I mean, do you even put the Goblin Auto Barber in play first? You might want to just have a minion left over. But RDU knows that probably lost him the game there. You can see the reaction.
Wow. I can't help but feel for him in this situation. But this is the power that Dr. Boom provides, is that at times you do get what feels like free cards from your opponent.
Yeah, I mean, the more and more that I see it in play, the more I see. Well, at least he gets the full 4 again here on RDU's face, but this one's a little less relevant than the last ones.
Yeah.
You know, you see people deal with the 7/7 even more easily. You know, every time everyone's got Big Game Hunter ways to deal with it, but when you see these boombots roll on point, that card is so powerful.
So now, you know, he's not completely dead yet. That's the thing too, is Kaldi doesn't have lethal this turn.
Well, I mean, if you just Sludge Belchers and then True Silver Champions, it's going to be pretty hard for RDU to get through here, but because you go up to 6, RDU has 5 power.
Sprint into Sap into Deadly Poison?
Yeah, it's going to have to be something very specific. Now, is that the best way to keep himself from dying this turn? Because if you Sludge Belcher and you True Silver Champion attacks, puts RDU down to 4, and puts you back up to 6, which is exactly what you want to be doing. And then if you add Sludge Belcher, it's a minion that has to get through first before damaging you.
Yeah.
This is a great turn for Kaldi here.
RDU needs this deck to go back to Miracle Rogue, because he needs one right now. Kaldi is primed to take this series at 3-2. It's got to be right now, too. I love it that it's coming down to this one single draw.
Yeah, he needs a sprint. We talked about this the whole game. He needs to draw a sprint here. There is the Van Cleef actually we were talking about, but that's not going to be good enough. RDU is going to lose his first match of the tiebreaker here. Kaldi doing what he couldn't get done last week, winning a match and putting himself in a good spot to make that last playoff spot.
Yeah, and you can tell how much it means to RDU, too. Look how upset he is after that loss. But the man of the hour right now is Kaldi. A fantastic performance from him. You know, again, I look at Kaldi at the beginning of the season, and I look at Kaldi now, and you are seeing a completely different player. This guy is in perfect form right now.